And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Shush Shush is on the chat. The Zone H Money is on the chat. We got to talk, guys. We have to talk about what's happening in the welterweight, heavyweight, middleweight, and finally, the heavyweight division. Unified champion Andy Ruiz shows off his physique. He looks thinner from what I could see. Um, he looks as though he's been training. Now, before we get into it, you know, appreciate everybody coming to the chat. LA 12, Crawford is fighting the mean machine. Ashley, no broken bones. Spence will be back. Let's hope he's back. Let's hope he's 100%. We don't want any excuses with Spence. Side notes. Side notes. See, perception is a mother. And that's what I think this is a case of. And I'm going to explain to you guys why. So you have a lot of people that want you to think a certain way. Andy Ruiz, he looks good. I mean, he looks good from what we could see. But have we seen much? Right? What have we seen besides a picture? Yeah, we seen how he looked on June 1st. We see how he looks now. How long has he been in training for? Didn't he just get a visit from Eric Morales like not too long ago? You know, it's one of those things where he looked still heavy set to me. He looked like he still had the weight on him, and with the articles that we receive and what we have to go by, we have Andy Ruiz. We have him in a thin shirt, leaning up on a speed bag, okay, saying, hey, I'm going to be faster, stronger, quicker, and he warns Anthony Joshua. I think this is a tactic. I think this is another feeding tactic. I know both sides are doing this, you know. Yeah, Tunde. AJ's not showing training videos. You know why? Yeah, because it's all about the element of surprise. That would be, you know, a good talk. Usyk will eat Wilder. Ooh, we got to talk about that. We'll talk about that at another time. We got to talk about Ruiz. It all gels together though, doesn't it? Doesn't it all gel together with the heavyweight division? Think about it. The heavyweight division is like a melting pot now. We got Usyk there. Usyk's the mandatory. You got Pulev's the mandatory. He's just getting off his big stink from, kissing Jenny Suchet, right? But Nadi, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. King Skull Island, Team Ruiz, I like an underdog story. I do too. But who's the underdog? Who's the underdog now, though? Is it still Ruiz? Is he still the underdog? Golden Boy Promotions put Ryan Garcia versus Romero Dono on the Canelo Kovalev main event, and they should put Virgil Ortiz on a Canelo undercard the next fight. They should. Since Oscar praised Ortiz so much, I think Joshua beats him the way he beat Parker, maybe 6-8. I don't know about 6-8. But definitely maybe 8-4. You mean not 6-8? If Ruiz loses that much weight, it means he either was on PEDs for an AJ fight or he was on a lean mass PED. Wow. That's something I didn't think about. That's something I haven't even put. I have never put Ruiz and PEDs in the same subject line, in the same sentence. So I don't know about that. Davey, salute to you. Do you really think we can make all these fights though? I don't know. I don't know if those fights will be made, because you got Usyk there. Usyk's gonna be Usyk. He got his feet wet. Um, I would love to see how he treats these other fighters because it's going to be a totally different game playing with other fighters. Just fortunate enough he got out of that weird situation with the replacement because we know what we know about replacements. They haven't been too good, the outcome. Joshua was not built for boxing. He was made. He hasn't been a boxer all his life, but neither has a lot of other fighters to this day. They didn't grow up breathing boxing. The only person that I know that's on the top right now that did was Tyson Fury because he's been fighting. Andy Ruiz is another one. He's been fighting since he was 5. Tyson Fury's been fighting since he was alive. Okay, so I think that a lot of those guys that got into the sport late. So you might have a point on that one. Usyk versus White. Uh, that'd be a good fight, and I'm gonna tell you why. White's already planted seeds of how he thinks or how he would fight Usyk. So he's already. I don't think it was really trash talk. I think White was just saying, I would go in there and beat him up. He's little. He's a little dude. I go in there and beat him up. Double, triple jab and rough him up a bit. I just go in and beat up the smaller dude. I would love to see him try. Ruiz is the underdog like the Jets were. Okay. Wow. Errol Spence's career is over after drunk driving. He should definitely be an advocate of it. I doubt it'd be over. I think he could turn it in his defense. I think, he just has to humble himself and just, fess up to what he's done. You know, Andy was on okay Snickers. He was on Snickers. Can we see video of Ruiz taking the PED test like we saw AJ did recently? No. I'm glad you got your voice back. Jim Brown, counterpunch to you. Deo Adex. Pacquiao been boxing from the junk, and he's still up. Yeah, he's been boxing a long time, and that was like for financial gain. Finally, a sensible conversation. I love the talks here. JE, counterpunch to you, brother. Welcome to the stream. Honestly, this is what I believe about Ruiz right now. His face looks a little slimmer. He looks like he's been on a diet for a week or so. But that doesn't convince me, honestly. It doesn't convince me that he's lost a lot of weight. Because what's the most significant thing about weight loss is, you have one guy, the numbers, right? The results. So if I'm, for example, 250 pounds and I want to show people like, hey, I've lost how many so-and-so amount of pounds, right? Like, hey, I went from 250 to 228. I've lost 22 pounds. You know what I mean? Those are the things you are proud of. So those are the same things that you would say. Yeah, I'm down to 220. I'm down to 228 now, right? I was at 250. So we didn't see any of that in this article. And then in fact, let's look at it like this. Eric Morales was there and he was trying to teach, Ruiz how to throw the knockout punch. He looked just the same size he did the night he knocked out Joshua, beat Joshua. He didn't look that, this, shredded look. Come on, we got one pic, one image, okay, where he has a shirt off, and that was like the images, I guess, leaning up to the Joshua fight fight. Then we got another image now of him wearing a shirt, sleek, with it, with his hands up, leaning on a speed bag rail, on the top of a speed bag, with a shirt on. So how do we know what he really looks like? Now Joshua actually lost a lot of weight because you can see the difference between that Joshua and then the Joshua now. But now this is kind of, I think, a smoke screen, and people like, oh, yeah, Muhammad Ali. I think Ruiz is playing mind games. I think he's trying to give people the perception of his weight loss, but he hadn't gave us any evidence. You can look thinner in certain shit. Look at the shirt. The shirt is kind of like the shirt I got on. My perception of it may make me look smaller, but I'm actually a bigger person. You know what I mean? Especially the way he was leaning. You can't see any definition. You couldn't see how he was built. You don't know if he really lost weight or not. I think it's all perception and it's mind games. Absolutely, Muhammad Ali. I do believe that. Still think after all this is gonna love AJ the most, like they love Mike, although he lost. What do you think? Man, you look. I got another video to drop about Joshua, but one thing about Joshua, he didn't go out like a bitch. He didn't go out like a sore loser. He didn't resemble any of that. He didn't do an Adrian Broner. I beat that boy. I beat that boy. I beat him. Hands on his hips and shit. He was pissed. He wasn't nothing like that. He took the loss. It could have been a million things wrong with Anthony Joshua, but at the end of the day, guess what? He didn't have anything to say about that. He congratulated the new champ. Hey, talk to him. He's the new champ. Don't fixate the conversation about me. It's about Andy Ruiz now. That's how you do it. That's how you lose. Fuck the sore loser shit. You know what I mean? People, the alpha males aren't sore losers. They're not the type of people that make 1,000 excuses. People do because it's a thing called ego, pride. And he put all that aside. That's why people still like Joshua to this day. Yeah, did the boxing world take a hit? Yeah, more than likely it did. But it also blessed another guy that was struggling with bills and all types of shit. You know what I mean? With poverty damn near. He couldn't get fights with Bob Arum, right? So he had to go over there to Al Heyman. You know what I mean? And if he was really that much of a decorated fighter on the Heyman stable, he wouldn't have got the fight anyway. DT3, the Boom Man. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Boxing icons and legends. Shout out Kurt Counterpunch from Boxing News. Counterpunch to you, brother. Jim Brown, too many drama queens and not enough men. I agree, Jim. I definitely agree. It's like you have these people that they're worried about losing. They got these O's. And yeah, I know you don't want to let your O go. I know that. But then everybody can't be like that guy. You see that guy right there? Everybody can't be like that motherfucker. That guy was the guy that he was a totally different fighter from what he turned into. Okay? Had he kept fighting those guys, either he would have showed us he was like that much greater than he already was, right? Or showed that he can be beat. One of the two. He was either going to win or going to lose. But he got to the point where he stopped fighting these guys because he seen the profit on fighting other people that made him look a lot better than he was, because he wasn't fighting those guys that at the end of his career, not at the beginning, not when he was pretty boy. I'm not talking about that, But where I'm going with Mayweather is everyone tried to be like Mayweather so bad to the point where they've created this false, egotistical, made up fairy tale bullshit way of thinking. When you got a fighter that wants to fight you, he's the champion, it's your same weight class, you don't want to fight him for whatever the fuck. You're worried about losing. And if you're going to fight him, I want more money. But the kind of money you're asking for, you don't deserve. You don't do the numbers to make the money that you're asking for. So really, do you really want to fight these guys? This is what we're dealing with in this day and age. So Jim Brown, absolutely. This is exactly what we're dealing with. Ruiz waited too late for his weight loss. AJ was back in the gym right after the fight. JE, I don't know. See, here's the thing. I don't think he lost that much weight. He ain't showing us no numbers. The numbers. Show us numbers. Hey, where were you? We know you was at 268. Okay? We knew you was at 268 on that day. We don't know where you're at now. You know, people need results. They need progression of when you started something and now where are you now? Where's the numbers? Because for what I could see, honestly, where I could see, Andy Ruiz looked the same fucking way when Eric Morales, El Terrible, right? He was showing him how to throw this knockout punch. You know, it's ironic about Morales because Morales was that kind of guy that, you know, did have a killer right hand. He was a superstar at his weight class, you know? And Ruiz fights, he throws combinations like a smaller fighter. That's the significance of him. So that takes a lot of practice, you know? But he looked the same size. That's what I'm saying. So I don't really buy the, you know, he looked slim in the face, but again, you know, we don't know what his body look, you know, his physique looks like, you know? But I mean, if he's slim, that's good. But the most important thing about Andy Ruiz at this point is that we won't have to worry about him making shit up after he loses. You know, that's why I asked. That's why the title is, hey, is this a good plan for you to lose all this money? Usyk will outbox that fat boy Andy Ruiz. I would love to see it because Ruiz is quick. You know what? I think I could see that, H Money, and I'm gonna tell you why I could see that. It's not because I like Usyk more than Ruiz. You're looking at the styles and the styles only. Usyk is a man that can pivot and give strange angles and weird angles, and he is conditioned. Someone like Ruiz, I think he could tire out Ruiz because Ruiz is gonna try to come forward and pressure him, which in some spots it will seem effective. That's what will make the fight interesting because of the combinations that he will throw to Usyk. But Usyk will I think he'll get that timing it down, coming from the left, the southpaw stance, and he'll hit Ruiz with angles, and Ruiz will try to catch him. But guess what? Ruiz is not as fast on his feet as he is with his hands, right? I don't think that. Now, get this. I feel that if Ruiz was going to lose weight, it would be against someone like Usyk. It would be against someone like Usyk. Why? Because Usyk is that guy that he knows footwork. He knows that he's going to use the ring. He's not going to run. I don't believe in that anyway. But he's going to use the ring. He's going to be in and out. And Andy Ruiz is going to have to be quicker on his toes if he has to fight someone like Usyk. These are facts, people. You know? And Tunde, you're right. Let's get these likes up. You know, we got 72 on the chat. Let's get 72 likes. Everybody that's tuning in, hit the like button. Hit the like button. You know, let's get this out there. Let's get people on the chat, you know. But for Joshua, I don't feel if he is losing a lot of weight, like they say, and he's just not even revealing the numbers, fair enough. Okay, if he's not revealing the numbers and he is losing weight, I honestly feel that that's not a good idea for him. I don't think it's a good idea for him. You know, Canelo and Tank Davis are divas. Yeah, there's some of the divas. You know, Canelo fought Mayweather. He became a diva. Tank Davis is managed and produced and promoted by Mayweather. So therefore, he's already trained into being a junior diva. So yeah, I get that. Canelo and Tank Davis, yeah, they're on some diva shit at times. You know what I mean? They're on some diva shit. Floyd lost to Castillo. Well, you know, a lot of people argue that, but guess what? He didn't officially lose to anyone. Like he got knocked down before. Right? One M, one King. He got knocked down by fucking Zab Judah. They ruled it a slip. You see what I'm saying? So it's about the official. We know what we saw, but we also know what they ruled. Okay? Been boxing his whole life. DT3, the Boom Man. Who's been boxing his whole life? Who are we talking about? Floyd, of course. Andy Ruiz since he was 5 or 6. Has Ruiz even got the stamina and the boxing ability to go 12 rounds if Joshua boxes him to a full 12 rounds? Surely conditioning comes into play. CJ, I think he does. I think he does. Depends on what type of fight he fights. Okay, I think he does because he went 12 rounds with Parker. So it ain't, I didn't see him gassed out or anything. He's just a fat kid. You know what I mean? Floyd passing down his cherry picking, ducking, waiting guys on antics to these black fight. Yeah, that's it. It's a good thing if you're only about money. It's a bad thing if you're a lover of the sport like me, because we're gonna get the fucking run around with fights that need to happen that will never happen due to this type of Mayweather, Al Heyman type of, hey, wait the fight out, wait the fight out, wait the fight out. Oh, the fight's big enough. We're gonna wait again. We're gonna wait another year. Wait the fight out. Wait. Oh shit, somebody got beat. Uh-oh. Fight can't happen now. Damn. Them put as much work in this Floyd. None of them have. And they don't understand that. Low dog. Counterpunch to you, brother. Shouts out to you. Pretty Floyd Olympic coach is in my boxing gym. Name is Sherman. Nice. J.E., that's big. He only needs to drop 20 to 25 pounds. Who, Ricardo Johnson? Who needs to drop 20 to 25 pounds? I haven't seen him in a real workout either. This is going to be a classic scrap in the desert, I think. It'll be cagey for a few rounds, and then it'll explode into a classic. Boxing icon and legends. You know what? It might be that case. Because at what point does Joshua say, you know what, fuck it, I want to trade. I want to put myself back in the position. It might pay off. I might be able to land a left hook the way I landed it that night on the third round. It might be that way. But Andy Ruiz will be waiting for that. That may be when the fight starts, when someone does get dropped. Because it ain't like Andy Ruiz can't get dropped again, people. He can get dropped. He just knows he can get dropped now. He didn't know that walking in. He didn't know that he could get dropped by Joshua. Why? Because he never been dropped before. See, Ruiz got dropped the first fight, third round, boom. But he also knew, damn, this guy can hurt me. This guy can drop me. And now Joshua knows, hey, I can lose to this guy because I lost before. So this is the biggest fight of the year. Not Canelo Kovalev, nothing really, everything kind of fizzes out. You know what I mean? Because people know what's at stake. All these belts. This is damn near disputed. This is one belt shy of undisputed championship supremacy. Supremacy. So the dominant thing about this fight would be who wins, how they win. Will it be a gruesome fight? Will it be like, somebody gets cut bad, like some Tyson Fury shit? What would it be? How will it be? Is it true that if you eat Snickers before a fight, you'll super gain strength? CJ, you know what? I used to work out with a guy that actually, he had these little baby Snickers, right? He had these baby Snickers, and I always watch him and say, man, what the fuck you doing? He says, dude, I think he used to take 2 or 3 of them, and it gives him like a boost, a sugar boost. When he pops them, he throws them down his chest real quick, swallows them, then he starts his workout. And then he was like, yeah, man, these Snickers, they really keep me going because they give you an extra little kick, due to the sugar, so you need to burn that off, which, it's sugar. So you'd have to be running all damn day to be burning something off like that. But yeah, that is true. It does give you a rush, that I believe it could give you an edge for a short amount of time, like I guess a candy adrenaline boost, Hope Ruiz doesn't lose much weight. I think the extra weight helped him in the fight. Mala, 2243. I believe the same thing. If it's not broke, why are we fixing it? Why is he losing weight? They got in their mindset, what happens with people? They want to do better than they did before, but what was working, you already done. See, and here's the problem with this. I don't want something that they're trying to work on to make him better become the excuse why he loses. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Because a lot of times they, oh, we really didn't factor in. He looks slower, and I think that the weight loss didn't help him. It made him weaker. I think he lost too much. I think we overdid it. That shit. I don't want that. You know what I mean? See, people get this. I don't know if you get this channel misconstrued, but it's not about favoritism for Joshua. It's not about favoritism for Andy Ruiz. It's not. These are not one of these channels. This channel is, you want the best to fight the best while they're at their best. That's my motto. If they can't fight at the best, if it's some bullshit, if they got some kind of hernia or ripped muscle or, damage, injury of some sort, okay, we need to know about that. Right? And that fight shouldn't happen, but, we don't want that to be an excuse on down the line. I'm tired of excuses, So, I don't really, I want the fighter to have the best possible chance to win. How do you have that? Come in at 100%. If you can't come in at 100%, okay, you shouldn't be there, period. I know certain things you could suck it up and, hey, man, I still fought anyway, man, but I really was hurt. Well, why are you fighting? Don't fight. Be smart. Do some Keith Thurman shit. Take all the time you need off to fight. Okay? And even if this is what I like. Something who said that? It was a fighter that had an injury. Was it no, it wasn't Keith Thurman. I don't think it was Keith Thurman. I forget who that fighter was. It'll come to me, but they said, yeah, there were problems, but we're not going to say what the problem was because that's not important. CJ, Ruiz beats Usyk. I think he will come forward nonstop and catch Usyk. He could. Does he have the speed to do that? He definitely has the combinations. He's in heavyweight. If he does come in smaller, how the punches affect Usyk? Because people talk shit about Joshua or whatever. They make fun of Ruiz's weight or whatnot. But guess what? None of these other motherfuckers have fought this guy either. They don't know how his punches will affect them when he hits them. He could hit Tyson Fury and drop him. He could catch Wilder just like Ortiz caught Wilder. And then, man, let's look at it this way. If Ruiz hurts Wilder like Ortiz hurts Wilder, do you think, or how do you think that fight would have went? What we know now about Ruiz's combinations. What do you think, how you think that fight will happen? Oh, it could happen. So if he gets in there and he stops Deontay Wilder, are we going to claim that Deontay Wilder has no chin because he was dropped a few times before ultimately stopping the fight? Are we going to go with that shit? Are we going to go with that narrative? Oh, man, Deontay Wilder ain't got no chin no more. No, that's bullshit. He just got caught with a good punch. And Ruiz is a good finisher. He knows how to put combinations together. He always has. But that's no reason to shit on Wilder if Wilder gets beat by Ruiz. But the fact of the matter is, people, Wilder has never fought. Ruiz, Fury has never fought. The only person that Ruiz has fought other than that is Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker was what? Regarded as what? One of the fastest heavyweights we had. That was the significance of Joseph Parker. That was the edge that he had against Joshua. He was faster. So that's what we're looking at, people. Who said Usyk will knock AJ out? He barely phased the big man he fought. He just wore him out unconditioned for a 12-round fight. I think that's Usyk's strengths, one of his strengths. I don't think it's actually punching power at this point. No, not in the heavyweight division, because I thought the same thing you thought. I was like, well, damn, I know people. This is what I'm thinking. This guy's coming from cruiserweight to heavyweight. And the punches that he's hitting, this Witherspoon fighter, he's hitting Chaz with, they would have stopped the cruiserweight, I feel. You know what I mean? But they weren't doing that to Chaz. But then Chaz could just be a tough Philly bastard too, because he's from Philadelphia. These guys aren't pussies in Philly. Like, like Bernard Hopkins said, these guys fight with stick stones and bottles in the streets and the alleyways of Philly. Those dudes fight. Do you think Danny Garcia ain't tough? How many people didn't knock down Danny Garcia? Busted his face up, right? He looked fucked up in the Lamont Peterson fight. He looked fucked up in that Puerto Rican when he went to Puerto Rico. And who was that? I forget the guy's name that he fought. That they supposed to rob him. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, but how many times has he been dropped? Don't worry, I'll wait. See, Danny Garcia, tough fighter. Bernard Hopkins, tough fighter. Chaz Witherspoon, tough fighter. They had to make this guy quit. Now we're stopping it. He even said, my corner saved me. Why? Because he knew that he was taking too much punishment. But those punches weren't like hurting him. They were hurting him, but they weren't affecting him like they should have affected him if he was already in that standard weight class. So no, it's not his punching power. His thing is conditioning, mental toughness, the style to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, those type of things, And he knew he could put pain and just touch Chaz. And that's what he was doing. And he was swelling them up. If that fight would have progressed, it would have been like a classic Ali fight. He got to stop by cuts or immense swelling or something like that. It wouldn't have been like no boom, massive KO. Not everyone has that quality, people. Okay? Not everyone can be Deontay Wilder. So don't expect Usyk to punch like Deontay Wilder. Okay? That's how that goes. And that's how that is. L. Jones. Netherlands never back down. Counterpunch to you. Andy proved that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and that's Joshua can be beat. Yeah. I believe that. Absolutely. And that's, looking at someone like, who would you, if you walked into a bar and somebody said, hey man, you got a choice. You can fuck with that little fat dude over there. You can fuck with that tall 6'6", Colossus looking motherfucker. Who you gonna fuck with? I'm gonna fight that fat dude and get ate up like Pac-Man. I mean, pretty much both of them would, but who would you choose to fuck with? You're not gonna fuck with Joshua. Man, I'm looking up at this motherfucker. I'm not fighting him. Motherfucker looks like fucking mutant from X-Men. I'm not fucking with him. But that fat motherfucker over there, yeah, I beat him up. He looked like a garbage man. Yeah. Right? So, no, you can't. Tyrone. Macklemore, counterpunch to you. Great counterpunch, bro. Loke Dog, no footage on the Joshua training. Low key. Good. Loke Dog, good. That's how it's supposed to be. That's like I was glad when he got the fuck off social media. And that video that he posted, that shit's old. That's like some old shit that someone wants to feed. Those are feeder videos, people. They want to throw. They want to throw it out there like Joshua is still looking like the robot or whatever, you know what I mean? So they're still doing that. They want to give that perception. Meanwhile, this dude's training. This dude's undercover. He's, he is focusing himself to fight only one fighter. And I think that's what he's saying about all the other guys. Fuck Deontay, fuck Fury. These guys didn't want to fight me, and I fucked around, got my ass whooped, worrying about them, fucking with them. I'm not dealing with them. I'm dealing with Andy Ruiz. Now Andy Ruiz, hey, he's losing weight. He wants to show, he wants to show progress, people. It will be the battle of the feet, DT3. It may be for a while until someone gets hurt, And I would love Joshua to do the same thing he did in the first fight up to the third round, because I want to know how he reacts. You know what I mean? I want to know if he does that same shit, because a lot of people repeat the same things and expect a different result. Some people are quite insane. I want to see if Joshua goes in there and catches him that left hook. When Ruiz gets back up, I want to see how he reacts. I want to see if he learned anything, because if he haven't learned anything, what's the point? He shouldn't have fought him. Ruiz beat Gift decision Joseph Parker. I mean, it was pretty close. I mean, I looked at that fight again, actually last week, LA 12, and I noticed that Parker did throw a lot of body punches, you know, and Ruiz took him well, but I noticed that that wasn't a back and forth fight. I just think Ruiz should have done more. You know, I think he should have. He knew he was not at home. He should have took that in consideration. You know, you have to have no excuses when it comes to that. That means when I say no excuses when it comes to being in a foreign land and fighting in someone else's backyard, that means that you have to be ready to put on that extra effort in order to get that fight won. Okay, not saying there's not corruption in boxing. I'm not saying that due to home team advantage. What I'm saying is he has to be mindful of that. You cannot leave it in the hands of the judges. If so, you better do your best. You can't just do, hey, I think I won or did enough to win. No, you have to go above and beyond when you go out of the country. Okay, and that's another thing. That's why I was worried about Ruiz not training the way he was. That's why, I'm thinking to myself, what's taking him so long? He's fucking up. He needs to get his ass over there to his trainer. His trainer's interviewing people like, we hope we can get him in here Monday, but if not, we're gonna try the next week. What the fuck is that about? He's training at home. He's on a treadmill. That's not good enough. That's what my disappointment is. And then you go in there and get whooped and I didn't have the training. I didn't start training camp like when I wanted to. I had a lot of distractions, honest, all that shit. Don't want to hear that. None of that. Okay? He will end of AJ's career. Okay, Ram. We will see. We will see how this fight unfolds. I think Ruiz will have a better will have better feet since he lost the weight. I don't know. He might have. See, the thing is, he might be lighter. But is that Ruiz's game plan? Is he a type of fighter that loves to move? I don't think so. I don't think he's that type of dude. He's that kind of guy, waits for you to come in. He rolls with your punches, throws his own combinations, kind of like Canelo. Why do you think Canelo did not want to fight Lara again? A pure boxer, a guy that could box and move. Because he didn't want to move. He didn't want an opponent that was, he didn't want a moving object in front of him. He wanted someone easier. He wanted something more convenient. Ruiz is no different. When Joshua started moving, he started just moving out of the way of that right hand because Ruiz had to pretty much jump up at that target at that point. Okay? Because Joshua was doing what? He was no longer coming inside. He was no longer coming mid to close range for Ruiz to hit him. So Ruiz had to come out and throw punches. He didn't like that. And I know he didn't like. I could tell. I ran around the ring. I didn't like that. He didn't like that. Mexicans don't like fucking people that move. They don't like people that move, especially they like to get it on, bang it out. Let's get this over with. Who's gonna whoop who? I'm not gonna chase you, and I don't want you to tap dance around me. I want you to fight me. That's a Mexican's mentality. Okay? He doesn't like that. That's why someone like Usyk will give him problems because Usyk knows footwork and he knows how to move. He knows how to frustrate and to understand something. Frustration is also a strategy. You piss someone off, right? Because you're doing something that they are having problems dealing with. Like Canelo Lara, he had problems fucking with Lara. That's why. He threw those bombs, he missed those bombs because he had to jump inward. Because these guys pretty much use upper body. If you look at Ruiz, he's constantly doing this, right? He's slipping, he's dipping, he's using a lot of movements because he's waiting for you to throw a punch so he can counter, bang, bang, but then you have to come to him to throw that type of punch. If you fight from the outside, they don't like that. None of those guys like a fighter that boxes from the outside. None of them. Canelo is a pound for pound diva. But Ruiz is no exception. So when Joshua did take that time off, like the fifth and the sixth round, he didn't like that. And Ruiz, what did Ruiz do? He stopped because he started to get frustrated because now I got to chase this motherfucker because he's not coming at me and he's not making it easy for me to hit him like he was before. This fight will be very, very different because of that, because they know, or they should know, that Ruiz don't like to move around. So him losing weight, though, will that really matter if that's basically, if, okay, it's like this. Ruiz's corner, Team Ruiz has to anticipate that Joshua is going to use footwork. If they don't get that and they don't understand that concept, he's going to have a difficult night with Joshua. Because what could happen, he could end up chasing Joshua when he really doesn't want to and runs into something that can hurt him. But then again, what kind of fighter is Joshua? Joshua is honestly the kind of fighter that does like to get it on. That's why I said, well, you know what? This fight here, Joshua might do that shit for a little bit, but what happens when he gets Ruiz like he wants to? He hits Ruiz like he wants to. He gets that left hook off, that uppercut off. He gets those power shots off that put Ruiz down on the ground. What happens then? Does he keep on doing the same shit that he did using the ring? Maybe, maybe not. But does he know how to fight like that? I think he does. Why? He fought Parker like that. You guys forget? That was a boring fight. It was a chess match. And I think Joshua would rather go 12 rounds with Ruiz and a chess match rather than a slug out fight where he ends up with the shitty end of the stick. Okay. So I think that's what that is in regards to Joshua, his mentality. He just wants his fucking belts back. But I know a part of him wants to knock out Ruiz. So that might be one of those situations. It may be. AJ will win, though, and you'll see the first time around something was up. Watch him bounce back. CJ, there's a lot of question marks that has to be answered. A lot of them. You know what I mean? So the stamina, the condition, the focus, that's all on Joshua. That's something that we have to see. If he didn't come in the ring with those things, will he come in with the ring this time with those things that he had before he fought Andy Ruiz? Even Ruiz's ex-promoter, Bob Arum, said the same thing. Andy Ruiz did not beat the real Anthony Joshua. See, that type of shit. So you don't even have to make excuses of your own if everybody else is doing it for you. But everybody else is not an idiot. Like, dude, who the fuck was that guy that walked in that ring? He kind of just took his time to the ring. Like, damn, dude, this shit again. Wait a minute, who's this guy? Oh, yeah. Anthony Ruiz? No, it's Andy. Oh, yeah. I thought it was. No, motherfucker. Wake up. He looked like he was just like sleep. Like Bill Cosby gave him the pill. Like he had a Quaalude or some shit. It's a good idea. Stamina issue is a problem since a Klitschko fight needs to be faster on the jab, doubling and tripling. I believe he will. He will. Look, they're working on things. They're working on things. They are working on like tweaking and technique, and it's not like, look, Ruiz can't do anything Joshua won't let him do. Let me say that one more time. Ruiz can't do anything that Joshua wouldn't let him do. Joshua's the taller fighter. You fight tall. Keep him long, like his trainer said, that I heard him say. Fine. But if he goes in there trying to throw combinations with a combination hooker like Ruiz, he's going to get bashed. Or battered, right? Right? The fact that Ruiz thinks he needs to change something, he already lost. Wilson Lete. Great counterpunch, Wilson. Great counterpunch. I agree. That's the problem. Why do you feel you have to change something that worked the first time? That's my problem. Or my question, rather. Why do you think you need to do this and you need to do that? You know what I'm saying? It would be different if he won from the hairs of his chinny chin chin. Then, hey, we have to work on this because we seen you slacking in this area. We didn't see anything slacking in any area of Andy Ruiz. So I'm about to call him John, the quiet man. But we didn't see anything that Ruiz could have, besides the way he looks. And that is where I'm getting at, people. See, I don't think it's about technique. I don't think that they're working on technique. I don't think any of that. I think what they're doing, what did Andy Ruiz say in the press conference after the fight? I want to be Mexican Anthony Joshua. Okay. So you're working on looking a certain way because that was the whole problem about looking at it, was his appearance, right? Which was nothing wrong with his appearance because that's the one of the reasons why you can be disarmed by a guy that looks like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Okay. So it is what it is. I think they're working on appearance because there's nothing else you can really work on. Like what? What could he work on? His combinations, his shit, his punching power, what? His speed. You say I'm gonna be faster. I'm like, well, how fast do you want to be? You were faster in the fight, especially in mid to close range. When you had Joshua where you had him, he was a good counter puncher. He was a quick counter puncher. He caught Joshua with counters and put him down to the ground, right? So what would you need else to do to work on? You know, because the only thing that because a lot of times people tell what their flaws are after the fight. They're like, oh well, I wasn't in condition like I wanted to. Well, what condition do you expect to be in? You know what I mean? Deontay can still lose to Ortiz, and that would twist things. Both Joshua and Wilder will be on losses. That's true because this is Deontay's next fight, and if he loses, I don't know if I'll be happy about that or whatnot. I'll be happy I'll be happy if Luis Ortiz beats him because that's who the hell he's fighting. But that would make a lot of sense. That would clear up a lot of shit in the heavyweight division. It would make it more interesting simply because, see, now Deontay Wilder, I guess because he was feeling a guilty conscience or he got the green light to fight Ortiz again, whatever the reason he chose to fight him, there's a reason why he fought him or the reason why he was being chose to fight him. This could be nothing merely than a cherry pick that went wrong, right? Since the narrative is from Ruiz, he feels of himself as a cherry pick, which he shouldn't even think like that. Well, he thought that they thought that he was a cherry pick. That's what. Yes, Ruiz is faster than AJ. Who do you think wins the AJ versus Ruiz 2? I will give my analysis. It won't be here. It will probably be early next month. I will do a video showing my breakdown finally. Which we don't have a lot to go with. We're getting fed, Andy Ruiz, he's looking good. He's slimming down. Okay. We'll see how he goes. The only positive fat gives Ruiz is something cushioned against body shots. Losing that fat will allow him to go longer and deliver more volume. Well, let's look at this, Maximus. If he loses more weight in the stomach area, wouldn't that make him more vulnerable to body attacks? I had to counterpunch that, man. You got to think about that. Maybe the extra blubber, because I remember when Parker was hitting him downstairs, that shit was just shaking like, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, is he like the Blob? You know what I mean? Is that like extra protection? AJ hit Ruiz first and lifted him off his mat onto his back first. Yeah, the way he got hit, he got knocked back. Ruiz will be quite defensive during the fight as he as well belts. He has all the belts to lose. Also, same feeling Joshua was under, so he may attack like he did before. I think pressure is on both of these guys, honestly. I think because Ruiz knows the benefit of beating Joshua again. He knows that. He knows what at stake. He could possibly fight Tyson Fury or Wilder. You know what I mean? He has options because he's already made the money with AJ. That's why people want to fight AJ. I mean, the real people want to fight him, not this other shit. But let's see. 1M1 King Andy Ruiz for the win. Okay. Great counterpunch. Great predictions. Pacquiao Thurman was the fight of the year for me. Earl Spence Jr. just accomplished what Keith Thurman already accomplished. Triple X, great counterpunch, you know. But being the fight of the year, I wouldn't deny that. I mean, that's a good candidate. That was a uh, very competitive fight, very exciting fight. Ruiz can't be defensive. He has to come forward. Well, he does. Damn, why you expose Andy's secrets? Hey, that's what we do, man. I'm just counterpunching, man. You know, because the fat will only save him. Yeah, look, hey, they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want, but just whatever they do and apply and attempt to change, don't let it be a problem when it's supposed to be been a solution. Don't want to hear the excuses. You know, if he gets beat, hey, I want you to have the same energy Joshua had being the champ, Law losing the belts to you. If Joshua gets them back, I want him to be the same way. You know what I mean? Oh, I just thankful for the victory. He got me this time. Hopefully, we can do a rubber match. Something. Set yourself up for the next possible fight. You know, at this point, Andy Ruiz, and look, let me tell you guys something. Andy Ruiz knows that pressure is on him too because he knows what is in store or what could be in store for him. I'm talking about sponsorships, endorsements, you know what I mean? The reputation, the notoriety, the fame, all that stuff comes into play, and it all depends on December 7th if he can keep it all. Because if he loses, what do you think Al Heyman's going to do with him? Not a fucking thing. The same thing he probably been done with him. Not worry about him. That's why he didn't care. Yeah, you can go over there and fight Eddie's boy. Fight Joshua. Make you some money. You know? AJ in even more trouble now. Uh-oh. Extra fat doesn't do anything good for the body. They know AJ. Well, hold on. Extra fat doesn't do anything good for the body. Well, here's the thing. If you're used to toting around that weight's a part of you. That's why when you eat, you're supposed to sit down, and whatever you're eating, your food becomes a part of you. Okay? So that's those things where if you take this weight off, where is it coming from? It's coming from the areas, maybe stored fat. He gets a little leaner or whatnot. But does that mean he has the carbs, the nutrients basically to get in that ring and perform the way that he was accustomed to performing while he had that weight on him? Because if he had that weight on him before and he doesn't have it now, that could be something that he needs and doesn't have. So we'll see though. That's only my theory on that. You know, because you just look in that ring, you lose a lot of weight on that day. Best fights the best, exactly. Absolutely, JE. That's what it's about, you know? Ruiz is going to be much more lethal and devastating. He said he's going to throw more punches, 1M1 King. He said that. He's going to throw more punches. He's going to be more aggressive, you know. So, I love it. Boxing still feeling the the riffling effects of Maypac happening way too late. That's absolutely right. That shit happened way too late. Oh, I got a new Snickers called Snickers Little. The Snickers Light with a drop of Jarritos. Oh, Cleon, that ain't right. Joshua will be extra cautious when he fights the second time. He may, you know, but he should because he knows he can get hurt. And I think it's just a perfect height for Ruiz to have to throw that type of punch and to hurt him. I do think it's 50-50 fight at this point. Before I was thinking 60-40 Joshua, but not anymore. Okay, good. 50-50 is good. You know what that means? 50-50 means you don't know who the fuck's gonna win. That's what that means. You don't know. So it's suspense that's killing you. The intrigue. Who will win? You know? Ruiz said he wants to come in at 255. He weighed in at 268 for the AJ fight. That 13 pounds loss won't affect Ruiz much, like you're saying. I have no idea. So the question okay, here's my question, LA 12. Let's do this. What did Andy Ruiz come in at when he fought his opponent before the Joshua fight? That's what I want to find out. When AJ wins, he won't give a Ruiz a rematch because of the headache from the first one. He did say that though. He said, "No, man, I'm not giving him a rematch." So, you know, so if I'm Ruiz, even if I win, I still wouldn't be a dick because guess what? This is something we'll find out also about Ruiz. If Ruiz beats Joshua, and he's what I think he's making 10, 11 million. He's not going to get that money to fight Deontay Wilder for the WBC strap and him with the rest of his titles. He won't get that amount of money. And then he will realize, like, well, fuck, Joshua is the guy that has the most money. He is the most valuable commodity in the heavyweight division. Down there in the sport, he gets massive amounts of money, and anyone that fights him gets a percentage of that. And that percentage that he gives you is more than these other guys' is offers or whatever that you're going to settle for on your side of the street. He's not going to get that type of money fighting Wilder. Okay? Not saying it wouldn't be a big fight, but then I don't see it. I just don't see it, honestly. I'm just a spectator of the sport, so I have a question. What's the difference between taking a body shot with a lot of muscle or a lot of fat? Is there a difference in the feel of it? Um, it depends on where in the stomach you get hit from, Brittany. Honestly, you know, if if you're a heavy set guy, you don't want to get hit like in the solar plexus. You know, unless your stomach was out there, you don't. You know, you want to hit someone above the stomach. You know, or on the side. You want to catch them in the liver. You know. Lots of money made to be made if you think Andy will. Yeah. Put it all on Andy. He goes over to get knocked out. You're like, fuck! The one time. Yeah, it's just dead for it's dead for Wilder. It is. You're right. It's dead for him. It's absolutely dead for him. He fucked that up. He knows that. That's why he's talking about fighting everyone because at some point he's gonna try to resurrect that idea of a fight with Joshua. That's what he does every so often. But it would be a huge payday. I mean, look, if it here's what I'm saying. If he fights Wilder and gets less money, he shouldn't be surprised. You know? Do you think fast food work can outwork fast hands? Gentleman's game. I bother Ruiz anyway. I really do. Jersey boy, based on what exactly? Ruiz had too many angles for AJ. AJ only moves straight forward until he learns footwork. He'll never be able to beat Ruiz or Wilder. Slow Bunny saying AJ wasn't motivated is any excuse. It avoids facing the fact that Ruiz was superior in many areas and it brought him victory. I think he will be the next. Okay. I think he'll be the next Lennox Lewis. All right. But yeah, I think that Andy Ruiz, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think they're trying to do something that they don't need to do. It's not necessary. But again, that's not my game plan. That's just, or, it's not, I'm not a part of their team, obviously. So that's just my 2 cents, my counterpunch on that, guys. You know, Beiji Ben 03. I just wanted to talk to you guys about Andy Ruiz. What's the best possible outcome? Should he take it off like he's like it perceives that he is, or is he just shredding down a little bit due to the fact he's in training? So we don't really know if that's the case. We don't know how much weight he lost or whatnot. It looks like he's lost a lot of weight. You know, Ortiz beat Wilder, he will go straight to unify with AJ because he wants to get paid. He don't want a rematch. Mm. Who's better than Fury right now in heavyweight? Fury has to fight someone to prove his dominance in the sport. Wilder never fought big punches. Who was like a big puncher? Vladimir was a big puncher. But I think that Ruiz, I hope he comes in at 100%. But it was crazy to see this transformation of himself. Is he skinny? He looks skinnier in clothes. I just can't really make that determination because a lot of people will try to make themselves look smaller and they're really not. So, Jersey boy against who? He got robbed. Lewis would bully Fury. If okay, yeah, let's see. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna jump off of here. It's been a cool chat. I just wanted to talk to you guys about Ruiz and his weight loss. You know, been a great chat once again. All you guys on the chat, thank you for dropping in. And everyone, I mean everyone, has been counterpunched. Peace.